I thought you said I didn't have permission. Hello, hello. Okay, I believe we are live. I'm just gonna check because it still says we're setting up. Let us see. We are live. Well, hello, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. Good afternoon while I break stuff over here. All right. So, are you? Okay, you're here. You're on here. I see you. Welcome, everyone. Come on in. We have what I know is going to be an incredible conversation for you all today. And this is going to be an open, real, raw conversation. That is our intention here, right? And I am really excited to have this conversation with my client, Jemila, here, and to really have this conversation in front of you all, because I've been talking in the past week, and really, I've been talking in the past week heavily about authenticity and the role authenticity plays in our journey to liberation. And oftentimes people see results that we make, that we have, and they think, oh yeah, you're lucky. Or they see the banging body and they go, yeah, you just got it like that. All of this happened overnight. And so I want us to talk about the truth of things. Jemila's journey, the intentionality that goes behind all of these breakthroughs, the things that you do not see, all of those little bits and pieces. So just for starters, first off, I love this woman here, okay? She is a powerhouse. She's a powerhouse, incredibly talented, strong-minded. She is a force, as you all will hear. She's a people person who many people lean on. She is a mom, gifted, right? A corporate leader. She is a fighter for what is right. And so I want to welcome you, Jemila. Jem, welcome.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Yes. I'm excited about this. So I titled this live stream, Crossing the Bridge.
Oh,
yeah. Jemila's journey to embracing her true self, which has allowed her to just transform not only mind and soul, but her body, y'all. I mean, I know today she's all covered up, but she has transformed her body. And let's just dive into, can you tell just the people, just introduce yourself to the world, like who are you, what you're about, all that good stuff, and maybe talk about how did we first come to work together?
Yeah, okay. So hello everyone that joined the stream and all of BC's connections and networks. I'm really happy to be here to talk to you. My name is Jemila Xavier Cosmopolitan. And I have been a client of BC's for, I think, maybe 2-3 years now. I started out with a fear coaching with you, I believe. Just decided, post-COVID, it was time to really reflect. I think actually we were maybe just coming out of COVID, maybe. And it was just time to really reflect. A lot of themes about self-love, and I took my self-love initiation very seriously. And I think the word was investment that we used, investing in ourselves. And it all started with your brunches and going to your brunches and meeting women, very dynamic, diverse women, and thinking, I'm ready, moving from a corporate entity to an entrepreneur, aside from writing projects, is something that really, really scared me. So I saw it in you, I saw it in the women that you were dealing with, and I wanted to be a part of that energy. So I obviously signed up for the coaching because it's only a coach that can get you there.
Mm-hmm. I love it. And speaking of brunches, Jem has been to 3? Yeah, 3. She was at the very first one. You've been to all the brunches.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
At least most of the local ones.
Most of the local ones, exactly. Yeah. And I do remember that first one was it the first one or the second one that you were like, Bissy, I'm ready. Like, we're doing this. Can we
Second
do
one.
this?
Yeah, definitely.
Let's do
Second
this.
one.
And
Yeah.
we went on a 12-week journey together, just meeting every week and kind of diving deeper, and really just uncovering all these things that, like you said, I was just scared of these projects, or, everything that had stifled your voice or whatnot. So how did that coaching process help you overcome any challenges?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
tell us about that, just looking back on that journey.
I have to place a caveat at the door of this conversation, which is most people think the coaching, when it's targeted to a project, a goal, and things of that nature, it's just going to address that project. But your coaching had what we always talk about, a domino or a trickle down effect, which is I came to you as far as like finding my voice, not necessarily even starting my project as a writer or being an entrepreneur, but finding my voice. I knew that I was not speaking in my most authentic voice. And being around you, I felt myself come alive. I wanted to feel like that all the time. So, with working with you through that 12 weeks, I come to understand a lot of things about my inner child, about a lot of the trauma that I hadn't necessarily addressed from childhood, a lot of the expectations that I had in the future and not living in the present. And of course, more than anything, I was not living in my full sense of gratitude for all the things that I had accomplished. So having all of those things in front of me and working with you on a week-to-week basis, let's dive into it. I moved from a 2-year or 3-year technical career to a 5-year technical career with certifications in security. I became the president of the Black Professionals Network at Citrix. I became the president of 9 other ERGs. I was the right hand to management, working with them on initiations across the board, from making Juneteenth an actual a recognized holiday at the company worldwide, looking at forward programs or programs that we put together for Black History Month that not only trickled over Black History Month, but spilled over for the rest of the year, and making the Black Professionals Network the blueprint of other ERG machines to find ways to have conversations with management on succession planning, training, sponsorship for staff worldwide. So I went from being what I felt like a small fish in a big pond to a shark in the sea, and not that the pond remained a pond and it grew into a sea, but I became a shark and I was comfortable in those waters. And so I found myself cruising, flying, feeling good about myself, having more energy, and looking at my body and loving my body and seeing what I could do. And of course, that's when taking a really hard look at weight loss, nutrition, and health. You said I'm a mother of 3 girls. So I want to be here for them. I want to see them get married. I want to see them graduate. I want to hold their children. So if God permits these things, I knew I had to do the work. And a lot of that came with the fear of addressing a lot of the issues that I had nutritionally, spiritually with food, my emotional relationship with food, and even my spending relationship with food. So because that in itself is a comfort. All those things I had to really address. And it came out of those fear exercises. It came out of that hand holding. It came out of those accountability groups. It came out of all of those circles that we built, and leads me up to today to losing 180 pounds.
Come on, you need to say that louder.
180 pounds.
Do you hear? Oh my God.
I've got more energy than ever. I am able to participate in 90-minute Bikram yoga classes, getting back to the groove that I had built for myself more than 40 years ago, because I'm 48. So I felt actually, rather, because right, we're feeling something right now, right? Because we're back in the hat. I felt at that point there was nothing I can do. But one of the things that was incredibly resounding, BC, is the sense of community, the sense of partnership, the sense of reinvestment, knowing that you can buy stock, You can sell it and do exceptionally well and live off the laurels of that profit.
Yeah.
But you can also have residual income. You can also have stock waiting in the coffers, and go and reinvest in that stock. Go and pull the resources out because you have other goals and other initiatives that you need to meet, and you may not necessarily have all the tools in the box to get there. So I go back to my number one, my coach, and I say, look, I got a really important task ahead of me. I've got a resource that I want to get out there and I want to share. And I need your help and your guidance to get me there. And here we are.
And so, listen, so we're going to get into that, but I gotta just celebrate you, first of all, one more time. I mean, did you all hear what Jem just put on the table? 12 weeks. And within 12 weeks, all these things were happening. And after, more happened, you moving up the ladder, you being picked out and saying, hey, we want you on this panel. You being picked out and being appointed the president of this group. I mean, everything is happening. I remember you taking on yoga at the very beginning. You're like, I started this yoga practice, and all of a sudden, boom, it's a practice. Like, it is there. Like, you meant business when you said, I'm taking care of myself.
Yeah. And
you were like, yeah, that's it. 180 pounds. That is a whole person. How does that even feel? How do you feel?
You feel it. It's like baggage, I swear. And you can imagine going into a hot room, it's 103 degrees with almost 300 pounds of weight and struggling each and every time. And I'm a certified yoga teacher. I can get into these poses. I can do these moves. The teachers know I can do it, but I'm carrying some baggage. It's more than weight. It was a lot. It was more than weight. And you obviously, know about these things, but it was more than weight. And now fast forward a year later, or almost a year and a half later, and we're talking about 180 pounds lighter, more agile. My mobility is there. My ability to carry the weight and hold poses. The ability to push myself further, because I couldn't do that because I was carrying so much weight. But now I'm just carrying my body, and my body is moving. And so it's literally like an out-of-body experience. I find myself smiling in practice because I'm able to actualize a pose that I could only get halfway. And my teachers are blown away, and other students are blown away by my energy. But the most important thing is that my body has a chance to finally see itself for who it truly is. And it's blossoming, it's blooming, it's talking on its own.
Come on. I got goosebumps. I mean, I saw you and I was like, ma'am, what, ma'am? And I love that you touched on, yes, you were in there 103 degrees, but it was more than the physical weight, because there's so many people who are on these diet journeys and weight loss journeys and all of the things they're doing, all the things, but yet they're not seeing the results they want to see. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't your first rodeo at trying to lose this weight or, get rid of this thing. And now all of a sudden, boom, you got rid of the baggage, like you said, the emotional baggage, all of that. And all of a sudden, everything just followed suit. I love it. Congratulations. That is no small feat. I mean, I know about the emotional piece of it, and I was with you at least for 12 weeks of it. And I know that takes a lot of courage, So I hope you are like proud of yourself, because that's incredible. And so I want to talk about what's next.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I love about Jem, what I really love about you, which I believe many high achieving, ambitious, brilliant women, whatever you want to call yourself, can kind of learn from, is this your ability to embrace a beginner's mind. Excuse me. Because I have watched you lay down the pride when it wants to come up, and we this, I've watched you lay down the pride, put it in its place so that you can take, so your authenticity and you can step into your own power. So I've seen you kind of transition from master to novice. Okay, I'm this. Like I see you as this eternal student of life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And always curious and always bringing a fresh, new perspective and whatnot on this journey to your liberation. And I believe it's so key because I believe the liberated woman she has to be a student of life.
For sure.
Otherwise, she's going to be stagnant.
For sure.
She doesn't grow. So your next project, which is one of the reasons, the biggest reason why we are here today, is that you're currently working on a book.
Yes. Yes.
And I know I've had the privilege of knowing that she's been pregnant with books
Yes.
for a minute now. But let's talk about the one book that's front and center, the one book that has brought us here. Yeah. Can you tell us more about this book? Sure. What is the goal of this book? What is this book?
Yeah. So this book it's kind of what we all have been talking about as people of color, meaning fresher stories about people of color, hints of our history, hints of our future, positive circles and enforcement circles that we have built, bringing those to the forefront. So my stories really center on those circles that I've had the pleasure of mixing in, and working in and thriving in, and giving them a space, telling their stories. And then also, I've been very, very lucky to work abroad and work in Africa for a long period of time and do a lot of study in our history and our ancient history. And so with the advent of critical race theory being at the top of discussion in most across the states, and we see it being phased out in education systems, we are seeing a massive need for educators, people, heavy thought thinkers to come in with information, to kind of bring that conversation back to a fold. Perhaps the history that we created in Western education was not enough. And so this is an opportunity for those of us who have, interest or initiatives to kind of broaden the scope of those conversations, to dive in. Another thing is that there's a huge wave of Black creatives, just kind of stepping into that creative space and bringing a new fresh breath of creative thoughts and minds. I'm very, very inspired by the development of Georgia, and Tyler Perry, and just the investment of Georgia and Southern states in bringing out Black creatives and Black studios and for that Black production company. So I see myself leaving, or being a part of the Internet of Things and the IT world, and bringing that scope and kind of bringing stories that talk about dystopian style worlds, historical worlds, to talk about some of our controversial subjects like slavery and repatriation. And then, of course, obviously modern novels that talk about modern love, in the workplace and the home place, polygamy, modern day polygamy. So I'm really, really excited to kind of, what I feel is that play, and give that inner child, or that voice, that other dynamic part of me, the rest of my life, because I've done what I feel, what we're structurally expected to do as women, as leaders in this world: have children, have families, get married, educate ourselves, become financially buoyant. I've done all of that. I've gotten a t-shirt for it. But what I have not done is embrace my entrepreneurial spirit, really believe in myself and become my own boss, really wait on myself and become my own employee, invest in myself, become my own partner, and really truly dive into the creative mindset that I love in telling stories and creating scenarios that may offer solution for a better tomorrow.
Yeah. I have tears in my eyes, because what I hear you say, what I hear inside of me, what I feel inside of me is, I've been talking about the liberated woman. This is our time. This is our time. And what I hear you say is, like, you're beginning to tell history. Like, we cannot rewrite history. It's written, okay, but moving forward, you're going to write what will be history. Like you said, in traditional education system, there's some of the Black stories that are being phased out, or they're being contorted. The way they tell these stories are being contorted. And it is so crucial for us to have an accurate depiction of what is happening and what happened. And this is why you are here. And I keep saying, I'm like, the liberated woman is being called today. She's being called forth from all the corners of the world, in whatever spaces that you are called in. I'm called to kind of wake them up and walk hand in hand, help them cross the bridge. You are called to tell the stories, to keep the stories alive, to write the accurate depiction of what is happening, what has happened. I mean, and it's just, it gives me, just goosebumps. And so you mentioned something before, which I'll go back to. Actually, I'll circle back on this investment piece and dividends. You talked about working in Africa. The both of us have a background of Nigerian, being part Nigerian, a little bit different, but we do.
Yeah.
Your creative and artistic approach, which I'm almost certain isn't understood by many, especially our people.
Sure.
What, you gonna put that in a book?
Yeah.
You know, and because we come from this strong cultural background, we have all kinds of expectations, you know, where what we do, who we are, we don't quite fit in the conventional. What part does that play with you either holding on to the book for these many years and now saying, I'm writing it?
Right. So there's a saying in yoga, I think, that says, when the student is ready, the teacher will present.
That's right.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So when you talked about how can you be this dynamic person, but still have the humility to seek out the teachers or be this forever student, that's the point, right? The point is that I always believe that I am a product of the tutelage of. So I am a product of the tutelage of my world, my environment, my parents, you know, everything that and so I'm very, very, very passionate about development or evolution, you know, and I honestly believe that this one life that we live is an evolution of lives, meaning is an evolution of phases. So my biggest word is pivot, right? And if you are an athlete, a star athlete, and you've got a tournament coming up, you're going to your coaches to get you ready. Mm-hmm. If you are a star in anything and your coaches cannot prepare you for the challenge or the tournament or the excursion in front of you, you're going to seek out that coach. You're going to say, hey, let's go and call this legendary person. He worked with so-and-so to get them this award or get them that championship. I want that person on my team. I believe that as human beings, as wage earners, as liberated women, as housewives, as mothers, as college students trying to find their way, wherever you find yourself, go out and get that coach. And that coach was so successful to me in her path of liberating herself from a corporate career, first moving up in the corporate career, reading about your background, reading about your rise in your corporate career, liberating yourself from that corporate career, and then moving to, I said, that's what I want to do. I'm going to hang out with her. I'm going to work with her. And then in working with her, the assumption was made truth. I was successful. I had the same amounts of success that she had, meaning I'm able to go into those conversations and negotiate for a higher salary. I'm able to have these conversations with administration, speak from a point of reference, of knowledge, of empowerment, of leadership. And then I'm now being welcomed in the room. And then even on top of that, of leaving the company and separating the company and having a fantastic package, because the service that you provided for us was that of leadership, of someone who provided 15 years as opposed to 5 years. When I saw all those success factors after making that investment in myself, it wasn't so much of holding back the book. It's really like knowing when you're ready. I had things lined up. I had my weight. You know, we are women. We're very conscientious of the way we look. We wake up every morning, good morning, gorgeous. Just not just do it every day. You really need to feel that good morning, gorgeous. So as much as I could be focused on writing my book, I focused on my outline. I focused on what I could do without you. I could do the outline without you. I could work with a book coach and put that together, who is incredibly phenomenal, that you introduced me to get me there, right? But I knew that, and this is why the point of that voice, that cultural shift, that scared little girl, I know that kind of still exists in there because we worked together for 12 weeks. She's not all the way gone. Mm-hmm. She came back to you and she says, I'm really scared of this fucking book. Mm-hmm. I'm scared of what my people are going to say. Mm-hmm. I'm scared of the problems that it may cause. Mm-hmm. But it is so important that it gets out there. Yeah. The news, the signs, I'm tired of the noise. I'm ready. Mm-hmm. So even if my outline, which was done a year ago, even if this book, which was conceptualized 10 years, 20 years, 40 years ago, was ready, I was not ready. Yeah. Yeah. I had everything except one thing, and that was my fear was not in check. Mm. And so that brings us to you and the work that you do with us. You know, and I cannot explain it. All I can say is that after the exercises, the outputs are there. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness. This book, I love how you talked about just, you're like, wait a minute. What are they going to say? What are my people going to say? But they have to hear it. They have to read it. But what are they going to say? And there's so many, and I know that so well. I know that so well because our culture it's strong. It runs deep, whether it's the religion within the culture, whether it's the culture, whether it's the family. What are they going to say? And this is present in every area of our lives, whether it's our work, our relationships, yes, our parenting, the way we dress, correct, all of it. And so I'm just thinking like, you put the book out because the book is coming out. Oh yeah, it's coming out. They're gonna read it. They're gonna see it. They're gonna hear it. By force, by fire. They're gonna hear it because I truly believe that's you're called to do that. I believe we each have our own divine calling. I totally believe it, and I believe our calling is that much more important because, and it's set up that way that we are from what we are from. Sure. It wouldn't be that legendary or iconic if it was very easy for you to just, so this is what they need to know about Black history, blah, blah, blah. Of course, you're going to come from a family that says, excuse me, Jem, come. Have you had the conversation with your mother? Have you had the conversation with your uncle? Have you gotten permission? Why? You can't do that. You know, this is you and I, what we do, what you're going to do with this book is really telling the story of regardless of where you come from, yes, of what you come from, you can still heed the instructions of your heart. Sure, for sure. You can follow the calling of your soul and you're meant to. I truly believe we would not have peace until, sure, you know, and I know you're a fascinating storyteller and teacher, and you're able to make sense and you can hear it of just information, events, and extract the essence and share it with other people. And I'm thinking here, and the question that's bubbling inside of me is,
the book comes out and they get it.
Yeah. God.
They get it.
Yeah.
What is it? Like, first off, who's that target audience? Who do you see as a target audience? And what is it that you actually hope they get? You can see it, you can feel that.
Yeah.
They got it.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I feel like my target audience is anyone who picks up the book. Anyone who picks up the book and has any preconceived notions about people of color and even the abilities of people of color, more importantly. Because the book is not only talking about our history, but it's talking about our possibilities and our future. And it's dropping a lot of Easter eggs for people to take ideas and run with in real time. So that's also been a worry of mine, is that am I adding fuel to a fire? But at the same time, like you said, I believe, just like you are, I believe that we're called here. I am called to find leaders who listen to my dream, who believe in my dream, who understand what I'm trying to do, know that I am very dogged about it. They know that I'm not going to take, for an answer. They push or mold that energy in the right direction, right? Because I was angry about this book. That I was angry. I was going so many places. And it's interesting that we worked together before the book, right? Because we needed to do that. And sometimes people think, oh, I'm ready to just write a book. I'm ready to just start this. I'm ready to just jump in and hit the ground running. It's never hitting the ground running. You are always doing the foundation work. You're always laying the gravel, always laying that foundation. But what I found great about it is, unlike running a track and running, drills every day with a basketball coach, it stuck with me and you. It literally stuck. So let's just sidetrack for a moment. When we talk about investments, one of the first things you told me was, what are the things that you're worried about? I was worried about my daughters going to school and focusing on school. You said, forget that. Focus on the things that you can control. And I said, what do you mean forget that? Like, how do I just, that's not me. That's not us. We don't forget our kids. We don't leave them be. But I literally left her be. And she thrived. She thrived without my micromanagement. So here it is, right? Whereas I want a micromanager to keep me honest, to keep me accountable. Here is a child with everything over, like you said, everything paid for, everything sorted out and done for them. And it's just for her to show up.
Yeah.
And she showed up every day without duress, without recourse. What you doing, Mom? I'm figuring things out for me. I've got my own homework assignment. Oh, that's awesome. Well, I'm getting this, and she was right. And so I felt almost irresponsible at first for taking someone else's advice on how to raise my children. It has been incredibly life-changing. It has benefited our relationship as a mother and daughter. And my accountability to them has lessened with the need to be the hovering mom and knowing. It's more like a partnership in the sense of, okay, I missed that, or coming clean with, okay, Mom, I didn't do really well on this test. I have an opportunity to make it up on Friday. I'm going to go to office hours and I'll do that. I never got that level of feedback or even engagement when I was hovering. So again, like that, being able to take those practices on and off the mat was again the guiding point for me to say, okay, you know what, January 10th, I'm on sabbatical. I'm going to link up with my fear coach. Let me address this pain, the numbness, because we do have to rest from these experiences of going all in and hard. You've told me that give your time for gratitude, give yourself time for rest. And so in doing that, I now meet you well rested, fresh face, ready to work.
I love it. You got me so emotional here, just talking about the relationship between you and your daughter. And for those of you listening, I get the magnitude of it because of the Nigerian culture. for you to be the kind of parent with that kind of background who doesn't hover, who doesn't, what are you doing now? You should be. And for you to say, I'm able to just kind of just let her be. And we're not saying that you unplugged from being a parent. You just allowed her to be in her essence, allowed for you to be in her essence, allow for even trust.
Yes, trust.
To bloom.
Right, really.
That is so huge for us in our culture.
Yes.
So huge that I am almost certain, like, if our parents, like if my parents probably, so they're like, what are you doing? You're just gonna leave the child? What are you doing?
They have. And they have. And they have. And my advice was, leave her. She's fine. She's fine. She's fine. I know what's going on. I'm aware. I'm on top of things. Yes. And not feeling the angst of that too. Because that also, that's a whole nother dynamic in itself.
That's a whole, just really managing the expectations of how you're supposed to parent and then how you're supposed to be with your parent. It's like, where am I? How do I balance all of this while you are still, where am I? I love this. I love this. So do we have a title for this book?
Yes, we do. So it is a part of, this book is book 1, a part of the Amina series. It is called The Unauthorized Autobiography of Queen Amina of Zazu. It is the first book of a 6-book series that focuses on the life and times of Queen Amina of Zazu. It actually does a prehistory markup of history rolling up to that from the family of Noah. So you'll get some biblical history in it because it does talk about people of color. It addresses all of the biblical history with regard to biblical stereotypes in the beginning of man, of how man was formed. It talks about all of the African tradition and religions and the advent of the established religions of Christianity and Islam coming into Africa pre-slavery. And then Queen Amina's life is really centered around a lot of the things that happened during slavery, specifically the divide between the North and the South of Western Africa. And so I think people will be really interested in hearing this part of the story because it is prior to any boats coming to the continent at all, and how people thrived, how they lived, and trying to give somewhat of a semblance of an idea of how the transaction of slavery happened and what happened with this information once it was revealed to a current society and their actions towards that reveal. So I think it's a very interesting book for anyone who's ever wanted to know the what ifs in regard to slavery and repatriation and reparation discussions, and also too, just even telling the story in itself and hearing a different angle and then having really deep discourses about this conversation, I think is really what is the foundation and crux of this book. I will have an ebook out first and hoping to launch a hardcover for Christmas for folks to purchase. And I'm also toggling on the idea of having an e-reader for junior readers so that it can be shared in junior readers because it's quite a mature book. So,
yeah. Oh my God. I hear this and I'm thinking, wow, to actually hear like you said, how prehistoric, pre-slavery, how people lived, how people of color, Black people actually lived and how they thrive.
Yeah.
And what I truly believe is all of that isn't lost in our DNA.
Sure.
It still is. It resides somewhere, just as much as the impact of slavery also resides. But we have all of these pieces inside of us. So, what a beautiful, beautiful and powerful message and service that you would be rendering to a people.
Yes,
oh my God. And I'm gonna just say it. I see a motion picture.
I pray so.
I see a motion picture. So I just said it.
I pray
The
so.
most perfect
From
gift.
your mouth to God's ears.
Yes, I actually, I really, really do. I saw that just now. Anywho, so I am so excited that we are partnering again
Yes, we back at it.
on this project. I am so excited for you. And I'm again honored that you chose me to walk
Yes.
alongside you on this journey. I mean, I do not take it lightly. I so believe in you, in your message and what you're called to bring to this planet. I just like you said, when the student is ready, the teacher appears.
Yes.
I believe it's time. The time is now, the time is ripe, and it gives me great pleasure to walk alongside you. Is there anything else that you want the audience to just know about this book? What should they be? What else do you want to tell them?
First thing I want to tell you is I'm scared. I don't want anyone to think this smile, this confidence, this bravado, this dialogue, this woman doesn't need me. I am scared. And I told my sister that. I told them, I said, I'm scared. I signed up with her and there's no going back. They said, nope, there's no going back.
Yeah.
Monday's the day. And I said, I'm so scared. And I went and bought candles. You know what I mean? Like I prepared for this moment. I went to yoga to get my mental, I wanted to be ready for you and to also alleviate the stress. So my number one point that I want to make for anything is do it scared. Like even if you are empowered, something that's, no, this is not, do it scared. You're not going to do it gung-ho. You're not going to do it money. And you're going, soon as you get that funding, what did I say? I was like, look, I need this now more than this is what I need, because I know that this is going to yield. Now let's talk about it. Let's get past the dream and the message. Let's talk about the business. This is the business of it. I believe so much in this book. I believe so much in this project that the minute it hits the stands, even if it does its nominal numbers in sales, I'm satisfied. But I know it's going to do more than that. I have so much belief in this book that I'm going to market it. I am going to push it. I am going to champion it. I'm going to evangelize it. I am going to have book showers to launch it all across America. That's how much I believe in this book. And that is the extent that I'm willing to go in this business venture, because I believe that it is a profitable, it is a gold mine. So apart from the kumbaya, we have a message where we're also still business women. We also are very acute minds. We're also very focused on and we want to make money. We want to be lucrative. We want to be sought after. And the only way to do that is to have a viable product. It's also quality too. So it's not just writing a book with dreams and hopes. This book is a product that will also multiply other products and create other ventures for women, people of color, to get involved in. That's what I see in this. As you said, a movie, I see an empire. And so with that, you got to pick the right people. You have to have the right people. And again, when you've had success with someone, that's why crossing a bridge and never burning it is very important, because you can keep going back and forth over that bridge when you need supplies. You don't just cross that bridge and keep going. You may need other things from that town, that city. We have a bunch of them here, and we have a bunch of islands in Savannah, just to give you. Savannah is the town, but Brunswick is what services St. Simon's, Jekyll, and they all take a boat into Brunswick. And Brunswick is the central town where the high school is, the judiciary is, and they all take a boat to the islands to have their fanciful wares. There's always that. So for me, that crossing of the bridge is to get supplies for the toolbox. It's to go back and read that instruction manual, to go and meet with that sensei, to go and sit with that teacher for a couple of days, for a couple of weeks. This is my problem. This is my issue. I know it can be fixed. Show me the path. Show me the different ways that I can conquer this. guide me to the path. If ever I have a problem, can I come to you and ask? Of course you are. That is why I'm here. But you only have me for a limited amount of time. So use that time wisely, work smartly. When you reach roadblocks, speak out, be honest. Let's work through them. These are the things that we did together. This is what my book needs. And this is what we're going to do. And it's how we cross bridges.
Crossing bridges, don't burn the bridges.
No,
I
don't
love
burn
it. Of course, the writer. Of course. I love it. Thank you so much, Jem. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your heart. Thank you for just coming here, just for your time, just sharing your, and I know it's scary.
Yeah.
I know it is scary. So you really coming out here and sharing what already isn't there. It's like, now I gotta go make it happen. I understand the weight of that. And I also believe you're going to make it happen. So I have no doubts whatsoever. So we will be back, y'all. We will be back for another, once the ebook drops, we'll probably, come back in here and show you all what's going on. Again, thank you, Jem. Thank you for joining us, everyone. And until next time, be fearless, everyone. Bye.